Steve, in the end we got there, 2-1 win for us, friendly. I know it doesn't really matter in terms of points or anything like that, but what did you get out of the game?
An awful lot. That first half nowhere near good enough. Went through emotions, some players. We're lacking, and we need to address that, which we're trying to at the moment in certain areas and personnel overall. But we're working hard to work that out and get that right. But yeah, just wasn't good enough. Well, good enough. But saying that, we got a victory. Friendly doesn't mean a lot, but it does because it might give them a little bit of a lift. You know, again, I've always talked about if they lose or draw another game, then it's another blot on the copybook. They've won that, so maybe they can take that into next week. Give me a chance to look at back to 4-4-2. But again, still a bit wary on that one because we'll get overrun in midfield, which again, start the second half we did. But the flip side of that, when you go a little bit more direct and get a flick on, you score a goal like we did. So, food for thought. But not best pleased in the first half. I don't think our energy levels, and first 10 minutes it was, but then after that it dropped off. Let them dictate the game to us. But they were good, I thought. I thought they put themselves about. They passed the ball well.
Difficult to see how they've only got 1 point from 6 fixtures.
Oh, of course, yeah. but speaking to their manager before, they don't pay any players. They have a turnaround of players quite a bit, whether it's the manager's decision or players leave for a few quid. But he's got a hard job down there, and he always has done. And I thank them for coming down today and playing us, because we didn't have no one, and they stepped in and played us. And like you say, I thought they'd done very well. And I think if they can keep that squad together and play like they did today, I think that they can get enough points to get them out of trouble they're in. But back to us, we didn't stamp authority on the game. They didn't look any, and you don't always expect the difference in levels, but we didn't look any different to the level they're playing at, or they didn't look any different to the level we're playing at, should I say. It was two equal teams in my opinion after the first 15 minutes, and that's not acceptable. The players know that. Second half we've done a bit better, but like I say, it's Romford, it's the win. They're 2 leagues below us, but it might give them a little bit of feel-good factor going into next week at Braintree, because I'll tell you what, we do need it.
And good for Chin, bit of a confidence booster for him to get that double strike more or less right at the end.
Yeah, he can score goals. We know he can score goals. And like I say, he had a hard task last week up front on his own, working the line for 70 or 60 odd minutes on his own. And sometimes a thankless task. Like today, he's up there on his own today, and when you get no support to him, you struggle in that area. You know, it keeps coming back. So that's something we've got to work on in terms of the support runners to getting up around the front man, if it's 1 or 2. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
You touched on it just a moment ago. The debate about having either 1 up front or 2 up front. You're still mulling that over in your mind, or without giving anything away? I know, but
you've got to. You know, you can play 3-5-2, you can play 4-4-2, or 4-5-1, or 4 whatever system you've got to play. But the players have got to work off the ball. So if they see their mate in trouble, they could be a centre forward, but could end up at right back making a 60-yard run to help someone out. It's whether they've got a desire to do that. And in the first half, we didn't have none of that, and that's why we come in 1-0 down at half time. Second half, a bit better, still not happy with it. And I just said to them in there, friendly or league game, you know, me as a manager, the staff, the players, the fans especially, the board, would love to have been playing at Dulwich Hamlet kicking off right now. But we're not, we're here, and that showed the same sort of endeavour as it would be an FA Cup game. I'm not having it's hard to pick yourselves up because it's a game of football. I could have had them just running for 2 hours today or hour and a half today, but we got a game on for them, and I wanted to see the same effort and energy that they'd put into an FA Cup game or a league game. And we didn't see that after 15 minutes today, and then we saw glimpses of it in the second half. And they can't just turn it on and off, and that's what I said to them. So, worthwhile purpose for me to see different things, and also to see people's preparations and applications in a game that doesn't mean anything.
Sure. A couple of new names playing for us today. James O'Halloran at fullback.
Yeah, he's he was put to me. He's been training at Bromley and Sutton. He was at AFC Wimbledon last year, pro, got released, and managed to bring him in today to have a look at him. 45 minutes isn't enough, but I'll have a chat with him and see where we go from here.
Okay. Another guy,
Sam was put onto
15.
me this week, centre midfielder. I think he's been at Brays and places like that, and he's another one that we'd get in and have a look again. We're trying hard to get recruits in. I spoke to somebody after the 7 days expired. I spoke to one player that plays the level below, good exciting player, but will only go to a club if it's a full-time club. So he didn't want to make the step up. One is waiting for a manager to see where he goes before he makes his final decision. And I had 2 national players. One couldn't come because one of their other players had a call up to a national international game, St Nitsa or Kietz or something like that. And the other one's just come back from injury that I thought I could have, and unfortunately he's gone straight back into their squad. So we're trying ever so hard to get players in. Barry's watching a game today where he's watching 2 players. Ironically, they're playing each other, so he gets the best of both worlds there. We've got another 3 7-dayers in because that expired on some forward players and some a midfielder. And when they expire, we can talk to them. But again, this time of the season, I find it very difficult to get players in for one reason or another.
It's a huge task for you and the management team, isn't it?
It's massive, Jim. It's massive, but it's something that needed to be done. We've got enough playing personnel in our squad if we don't bring anyone in. Not saying it's going to be the strongest squad, but we've got enough bodies there even after releasing the 3. So we're working hard. And like I say, hopefully by next week we may have 1 in, we may have 2 in, we may have none. But it comes down to players and what they want to do. I can't twist their arms. They have to want to come. And like I say, we were so close to getting another player, and this is the fact, we're so close, but the travelling was too far for him. So it's one of them. We're trying our hardest. Working with other managers, speaking to them, so we can get players in. It's tough. We had to let 3 go last week because things needed to change, and I just said to the boys in there as well, after that first half, a few more could have been changed because it wasn't good enough. So we're striving as hard as we can to make this better on and off the pitch, and it's just a matter of time.
I know you don't want to say too much about the events of Sunday when we released 3 players. Obviously,
Yes.
Ryle needed to get some game time, which is fair enough. A player as young as him needs game time to develop his own game.
Yep.
Reedy, again, probably needs more game time. I understand he's gone to Enfield, which
he's gone to Enfield, which is good. Andy Lee
really
spoke
good
to me in the week and asked me about him, and I gave him a glowing reference because Reedy never calls me and outs of problems. Wasn't really given a chance, I don't think, at this level. But that's decisions I've got to make. So I wish him all the best and hope he goes and does what he wants to do and score goals.
Definitely, and who knows, we may be playing Enfield next season, hopefully in National South. That would be nice. And I know you don't want to say too much about Brew. Everyone's jumped to conclusions, but you want to keep that within the dressing room or within.
That will stay between me, the dressing room know what it's all about, and Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
It's my reasons, and like I say, that's it, and it's not solely on the red card.
Uh-huh.
So,
okay.
Like I say, everyone jumps on the bandwagon Sunday about certain things. Listen, I know, and whether my reasons are right or wrong, that's my choice, and that's what I'm paid at this football club to do. So, not going into details, not done it in the press, I won't do it here. I've spoken to Tommy, I've been honourable to him and done what I've said I'll do. And that's as far as it goes. We turn the page and have to go again, but that's football.
All we can say is we hope he gets another club quite soon.
I'm sure he will.
If he hasn't already.
I'm sure he will get a club. I'm sure he will get a club.
Yeah. Well, finally, really, October. We're just into October. You always said, I think, that come October the review would happen, and it is happening. Huge month though, isn't it? You look at those fixtures, and the trouble is when you're at the bottom, they all look difficult, don't they? Or near the bottom. Although Braintree, National League last season, Chelmsford, always a really difficult side, and Wealdstone.
Well, they don't come. No game's easy. say Braintree, I think with Glenn, he's done ever so well there. I think he's won 5 or 6 out of the last 7, whatever it is.
We always knew he was a good manager.
Exactly. Him and Tony Kinsella's superb. He's got a good squad there. Just signed Byron Lawrence, who's a fantastic midfield player. And then you go on to Chelmsford, who Rod Stringer has had them in the playoffs for probably as long as I can remember, last 5 years, 4 years, or whatever it is, and unfortunately just missed out. But they're there or thereabouts again. And then you go to Wealdstone, I think have won 10 out of 11. You know, and Dean Brennan, who's a top manager at this level, took Hemel from the lower leagues to a National South regular, and then he's moved on to Wealdstone, and they're flying. So they don't come any easier.
I think it's important supporters realise the challenge that you and the players and the club has on its hands.
Do you know what, Jim? I've had a lot of messages, private messages from certain supporters, and they understand it, and I think a lot do, because it's the level of players that you can have in your squad to what others have, and the table doesn't lie. We haven't been good enough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because we haven't got one of the biggest budgets, or we haven't got known players throughout the national set. We're down the bottom. We're down the bottom because we haven't been good enough, and it's as simple as that. It's 11 v 11. I know the quality does come into it at fine times, and that's where we've been lacking. But listen, then if you can't go into them games and pick your wits against them as a manager and as a player, want to do better than your opposite number, then you shouldn't be playing at this level, but you shouldn't be playing football at all. And I do believe the supporters know the magnitude of what we're up against. But also, I feel that they appreciate everything we're trying to do on the pitch. You know, we'll work as hard as we can off it, but ultimately the points are won on the pitch, and I think they realise how much effort the boys are putting in. Yes, we're making mistakes. Yes, we're not taking our chances at times, and that's a frustrating thing, not only as a manager and a coach, but as supporters. But I do honestly believe that they're in our corner, and I believe they will be in our corner all the way till the end of the season, because they know what we're up against. And like I said, this year is different to last year because we want to win as many games as we can, you know, and we're not at the moment. You know, we're not top of the league. We want to be. We're not in the playoffs. We want to be. We're not mid-table. We want to be. We're down the bottom. So what we've got to do is we've just got to try and work ever so hard to just keep trying to get points as quickly as we can, as I always keep alluding to get ourselves out of this trouble. But you've got to look at the next game, and the next game's the most important. We can't look at Chelmsford, we can't look at Wealdstone, can't worry about their results. Braintree, one of the most informed sides, if not the informed side of the National South, are coming down here next week. They've added to their squad, and like I say, I'm envious of him because he just gets a phone call and he gets a player. I'm trying to make 5, 6, 7, but Glenn knows that. I spoke to him yesterday about that. But no, we're going to work ever so hard to try and get something off them. And we will, you know, we will have to do that every single game. And
it may be a bit ugly. The football may have to be ugly at times.
Jim, you can't play pretty football all the time. I know that people are saying we're playing some good stuff, which we are, but we're not getting no points. So you might have to go a bit of the horrible stuff, you know what I mean, to get the points. And once you start doing that, then players start believing themselves again. And like I say, I've got a good, honest group that will try their hardest for the club, for me, for the supporters. And like I say, we just got to make sure that we're together. 20 games in, see where we are. Still got 8 to go. I know how many points we want between now and then, so we can then go after. And like you say, it don't come any easier after that. I think in November, I think Slough. You know, they're
flying.
Like 9 out of 10.
I think they're top of the form table. Yeah. I think at the moment.
Everyone expect us to be the whipping boys, which we haven't been, which I'm pleased at. So all we've got now to do is try and, instead of getting the odd goal against us losing, just turn it around so we get that goal or we keep that clean sheet, so that's a point, and build on them points. And like I say, I haven't got a crystal ball, so we've just got to take each week as it comes, prepare ourselves, give our all, and then what will be. And if it doesn't happen, then we go to the next one and the next one, and we just keep going until we can go no more.
Sure. Well, thanks ever so much for your honesty, Steve. I appreciate it.
Cheers, Jim.